I needed this movie to do is be better than this version of Ghostbusters, and I'm very, very happy to say it is way better. Ghostbusters Afterlife. Story-wise for the movie, it's basically a direct sequel to the first two original Ghostbusters movies, which came out a long time ago. They have so many, like, loyal fans around those movies. The nostalgia is very, very high. In this movie, a single mother and her two kids go to this brand new town, to this new house, which is linked to their grandfather who's recently passed away. And along with the house in the new town, you got your ghost apocalypse. And now you got your movie. I will talk more about the story, because there's things that I really liked and things that I didn't quite like. I will talk about those at the end of the review. But basically, the stars of this movie, they're like young adults, man. They're the new Ghostbusters of the movie, and I'm very pleased to say they actually worked really, really well. Not that I'm like so surprised, because the talent on screen is amazing. Genuinely, everyone in this film, acting wise, they pulled it off, and you got Paul Rudd in there, man. I love my guy, so funny. But the younger cast, who are the new Ghostbusters of the movie, they held it together, man. I was a little bit worried because I didn't know how much of a focus they'd be, but they're genuinely like the heartline of the movie. If they did not work, this movie would have fallen apart big time, but the new cast work very well. And since I mentioned Paul Rudd and laughing and stuff, pretty much the first two movies, they're comedy movies, man. There's so many funny moments. It's just littered throughout the movies, and this is no exception. There are lots of very, very serious emotional beats. I'll talk more about them in a minute as well, because they're like linked to the story. But I would say like 80% of the comedy in here did make me laugh, did make me chuckle, which is very hard because you guys know I don't like watching like straight up comedy movies. Like, luckily this has a good balance between comedy and action. However, don't go into this movie expecting some crazy insanity of action sprinkled throughout, because it's actually used quite sparingly. It's definitely not boring, but when there is action, it is very, very good. And the ghosts are like mixed between CGI and practical effects, which I always appreciate. To be fair, the CGI, the action, the ghosts, all that stuff, you know, man, it's going to be so good. They put so much time and effort and money into those scenes to make them look crisp. And when I saw the mini, like, marshmallow men, I was genuinely laughing. They look so good, and I want one. Also, this movie has, and I'm a massive fan of The Force Awakens. It's one of my favourite movies of all time, and you know if you've seen that movie, there's so many like Easter eggs and references. But in this, oh my days, bro, there is just references, Easter eggs through the whole movie, and it does not stop. For me personally, I kind of actually really liked it, man, because the OG movies, they are so old now, and when we're seeing this through younger generations and younger eyes in the movie, it gets you here a little bit, man. It gets you in the feels. It is good. However, I will say it is borderline for me, pushing it. There are so many references, like, I could not believe, like, it's the entire movie, man. References, Easter eggs. I can see a lot of people, like, being turned off or getting annoyed. Normally, I talk about the story, if I liked it or not, at the start of the review, but I'm going to talk about it now. There's things I like and things I did not like. When the new cast are on screen and doing like Ghostbustery stuff, I really, really liked it. However, it takes a long time, man. There is a massive portion in this movie. It is slug speed. Not boring, but very, very slow, to the point where you're like, yo, man, the pacing is well off. There's also some side stuff that were kind of dead. Not going to speak about them because I don't want you guys to like go into it expecting it, but I didn't enjoy all of them. Also, a bunch of nitpicky things. How did this new cast know how certain equipments work? Because they don't explain the movie, they don't show you the movie, they just do it. That is very nitpicky, but I can see some people thinking like, obviously, this ain't no real movie, bro. They're hunting ghosts, but some things need to be explained, and they weren't. Best way I can describe it, right, is like the blueprint of the movie, the idea of this Ghostbusters film. I enjoyed it, I liked it. However, there's massive chunks sprinkled throughout that were not boring, but very slow, kinda a little bit dead, and a bunch of like nitpicky things. However, there's so many emotional layers to this film, which I was not expecting, and that kind of like balances the scale a little bit. I was not expecting to see Ghostbusters Afterlife and get so emotional over it, because the first two, I like them. They're definitely like not some of my favourite movies of all time. I just like them for like nostalgia, and I like the story. It's very funny. But there are multiple sections in this movie that are tugging at your heartstrings. They're probably going to get you. I can't see you just skipping it and thinking, ah, whatever, man. They are going to get ya. Ladies and gentlemen, overall, this was a very good sequel to the OG movies. A nice kind of love letter to those movies while starting something new. They had some big hiccupy moments, but overall, I really liked this movie. Actually, surprised me a lot. Very emotional, and I'm going to give Ghostbusters Afterlife 7 nerds out of 10. Ladies and gentlemen, have you seen the movie? Are you going to see it? Please let me know down below. That will be amazing. As always, thank you so much for spending your time here. I think if you're a Ghostbusters fan, you're going to like this movie. If you don't care about the franchise, probably best you skip it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. See you in a bit.